Hi guys, it's day 32 of 100 days of 1% better. Today was a pretty chill and relaxed day. Had some work that I needed to complete, but let's go straight into the updates. So out of a gallon of water, drank 3 for 3, which is really good.
My last water, 3 for 3 again.
Keep maintaining that streak, even though I have to run to the bathroom. I did have green tea.
Also have my green tea.
I did have my vitamins. And I spend time with prayer and God.
Praying the rosary and reading the Bible. That's one of my favorite parts of this psalm. My flesh and my heart may fall, but God is the strength of my heart and my portion forever. It's really meaningful, and I needed to hear that. Also read 5 pages of Bleep Feelings, and if you can see, we also did our nails. So pretty. In honor of spooky season. Even our toenails we did.
So in my Casino book, we read Psalm 73, 13 to 26. So some of the things it talks about is that struggling with faith. So there's a common struggle of feeling disillusioned when you observe the apparent success or people sort of just reaping the benefits after they act sort of unjustly. But it's natural to feel these things, and the Bible encourages us to seek understanding through prayer and reflection, which is something that I really needed to hear. It also talks about the value of perspective and to seek perspective, like spiritual perspective from God in times of doubt, and to find solace and insight in that holy presence in the Holy Spirit. Trust in God's justice, and I think this is something that has just been so common throughout every video that I make, is that recognition that the fate of the wicked, the fate of people who do horrible things and who kind of bind people together to continue doing horrible things, it's ultimately the judgment that God has, that God's which reinforces the faith that we should have. And this serves as a reminder that earthly appearances and earthly anything is very temporary, but God's truth prevails in the end. So I always say this, like, anytime someone lies, doesn't tell the truth, does something wrong, inevitably it comes out in the future. And I know this because sometimes years will surpass when something horrible has happened to me and I just find out the truth. And I believe that everything that's going on with me now, I'll also have the same thing. Just watch and see. And then emphasis on a relationship with God, which means that fulfillment comes from having a relationship with God first rather than worldly success. It doesn't matter how well you do in your job or these other things. It does matter. Like, you shouldn't just give up everything. But it's like, if you have faith and you believe in God, your relationship with Him has to come first. Your belief in Him has to come first. And believers are encouraged to prioritize their spiritual lives and understand that God's presence leads to lasting joy and strength. Because I know this too, because every time in my life where I have made my relationship with God a priority, it makes and gives me a lot of clarity in how to move through different scenarios and situations. So that's it. And then I did not exercise or go to the gym today. And I think that's fine. I think when you do a really sort of heavy workout one day, you can take a rest the next day. Since I'm going out tomorrow, I'm going to try to do a workout before I leave to go to work. So let's see if that happens. And we did read our lovely book. We read pages 100 to 105. And this is what we learned from that. So it talks about how you have to accept the loss of what you thought was yours and acknowledge your lack of control over happiness and maintaining good times. And I think it's something that everybody needs to hear. If you're a human, you're going to go through good times and you're going to go through not so good times. And you have to be okay with the fact that you can't control that. You know, challenge false assumptions about deserving a good life, confront negative thoughts regarding should have and could have. This is essential because if you're going through anything that's really painful, you often ruminate and think could have, should have, this, that, right? It's important to center yourself, feel those things. And this is one thing that I want to tell anybody, because I've discussed like the very painful thing I'm going through with a certain group of people, certain groups of people. I've told some extent to one group, some extent to another group, but I've maintained a level of which I tell how I feel. And I think it's important to know that it is not okay to just tell someone to get over it, right? It's okay to tell someone to get over it, like I understand it, but if you see someone who is in pain, you telling them to get over something, you telling them to realize that it's a bad thing, they probably already know that. Like I already know that. But it doesn't change the fact that it hurts less. And I think it's so important. And I talked about it with my therapist today. You can move forward in your life, but you can still talk about the things that are causing you pain because you're in the process of letting it go. But you can still prioritize self-care, happiness, etc., which I'm doing, right? But just because I talk about it, just because I open up to someone about it, doesn't mean that it's like I should just get over it all of a sudden. Because if you were in my position, this is what it's called. It's a really big word for some people, empathy, right? If you know anything about empathy, you'd realize that talking about something and letting it go can exist at the same time that you're moving on. Two things can exist at the same time, and that is completely okay. Because I think in our South Asian culture, we're just taught, just let it go, goodbye, ta-ta, not worth your time, right? Yeah, I know it's not worth my time. I think anybody who goes through anything knows that it's not worth their time to talk about, to give energy to, right? But if it's fresh, if it's new, if it's still hurting, it's okay to talk about it. And it's okay for it to exist at the same time of growth. I just wanted to mention that. And learn to tolerate regret without letting it dictate your actions, and recognize the inevitability of unfair loss. Again, straight on point. He nails the coffin with everything that we're going through. And understand that you are not responsible for your losses, maybe sometimes, right? But if there are losses that have occurred that are not because of you, just because you may have heard it from someone else, it is not your priority to fix it. Like say if your friend or someone opens up to you and they're just looking at you like you need to fix it, block, delete, or just take your space, because it's not your responsibility that the loss occurred. You're there to help and to hear these people out, but you should focus on helping people who truly need assistance and who are not going to use you as a way to sort of just dump, like a garbage truck, dump everything on you, because that's not good. And yeah, that's what I learned from Mr. Bleak Feelings today. Out of 10,000 steps, I did 4,000, which is pretty good for a day just at home and working and whatnot. And I burned around 200 calories, and I did meditate a little bit earlier today. So yeah, that's pretty much my day for today. So when we look at a total percentage value, out of 8 habits, I did 6, which means that we're at 75%. And in terms of my 1% better, again, November is coming. I'm going to stick through with what I said because it's more for me than it is about anyone else. But I hope that it has an impact when it does launch my podcast and my website. But yeah, that's pretty much it for today. So as I end every video, I like to say that the world is a better place because of you. Make sure that you live up to it, and I'll see you next time. Bye bye. I don't know if you guys can see my nails, but like I got them done today, and I'm so happy because they're so like autumn and fall, and I just feel so girly and pretty, and I love it. And yeah, they're done by Naturals Kandana, one of the best people who work there, 2 of them. Like my hair is like cut, it's not like completely short because you have to anyway trim your hair in order for it to grow out. So like I've done a decent amount of growth, like especially at the top you can see it, but since my hair is more curly, this is like it like blown out. But even when it's curly, it's really nice. I want to get like a nice hair cream, take care of my hair, because if I cut it at this length, right, it's pretty good length right now, that means by end of November it will grow out more, but it will grow out with like the nice style with the side bangs and everything. So very happy about that. I also did my toenails, but I feel kind of weird grabbing my foot and showing you. But yeah, please take care of yourself, ladies. You are your greatest investment, and you should feel beautiful about yourself.
Same lunch as yesterday.
Sweetest baby girl finally go to sleep on time. bunny lover, little cat-sant. Don't you love what cats do the cat-sant thing on Tertiary?